let's talk about what the NCAA is doing. Okay, the NCAA, they're pitching to ban all prop bets on players and student human athletes. We like that move, even though we enjoy sports gambling. We think it protects people, especially collegiate athletes, as opposed to professional athletes. Do you think there's conversations about sports gambling happening at those league meetings that we don't hear about? We hear about the kickoff. We hear about the hip drop tackle, the challenges, that type of stuff. Are they addressing like sports gambling? Because right now the NBA's got something going on, the MLB's got something going on, NCAA's got something going on. Do you think the NFL is addressing that at these meetings, or how do you think it's all being talked about?
Well, I definitely think they'll address anything in those meetings in the private sessions where they can kind of have conversations about where the game's going to go, how can they improve it, and certainly with the interaction between gambling that's legal in states and being sponsors to a lot of the advertising, it goes both ways, and so do the gambling companies. They want to make sure that all these things are tightened down, because if you read Billy Walters' book, and he talks a lot about the perception that that it's on the wrong side of the tracks, and by having legalized gambling, the professional bettor like Walters, he wants everything to have integrity, and he's promoting integrity, and so do the sports book. So there's a two-way street.
Well, we all need it. We all need the integrity of the game to stay.
That's really important.
Don't you think so, Lombo? We all need the integrity.
Absolutely.
Even as ex-players, it's like whenever a player gets caught gambling, like the Calvin Ridley situation a couple years back. Ex-player, I am always going to try to see through the eyes of the player and see how or why this happened. We just did it with Shohei. Like everybody's assuming Shohei's gambling. I'm like, there's a chance, and we've seen it in the past where Shohei got preyed upon almost by a hustler, and there's a chance this was all misunderstanding, especially with multiple different languages. But whenever the Calvin Ridley thing happened, it was like immediately in my head, it was like, can't happen. Like just you're kind of taught that as a player going in. Don't be Pete Rose. There's like literally
signs everywhere.
Everywhere. And that's because if you ruin the integrity of the game, it's not only like fans are like, well, they're already saying it's scripted, but if it got even louder, you lose fans. The gambling money dead because nobody wants to gamble. Like it's like the whole business dies if the product on the field gets questioned at all. So they need to keep that and figure that out. And players, we promise you, whenever you retire, you're going to be the greatest gamblers of all time.
For sure.
Yeah. You're going to be so much smarter, so much better. The gambling world's still going to exist. We promise you. Just we need you to wait for the good of everybody. And now, is that selfish because we need sports to continue to be great and not be questioned and not have their integrity jeopardized? Yes. So that's coming from a biased opinion, but also for the good of sport, people that are partaking inside of it cannot be, like that can't be a thing. Your gamble is the contract that you signed. That's what needs, you know what I mean? Like I think that needs to continue to be pushed.
And that's the commissioner's main job, Pat. I mean, the commissioner's main job when he sits down and look at his job description is to protect the integrity of the game. And I think Goodell has done a good job of being ahead of that curve and making sure that everybody understands it. And we had a mishap last year in terms of communication. I think they did a better job this off season of educating the players on what they can and can't do. But that's the main job of any commissioner in any sport, is to protect the integrity of the game and make sure that there's fairness, not only for the sports bettors, which are legal in certain states, but for the people participating, for their families that are dependent upon, the outcome of the game.
And teammates of the guys that are like, I don't need to hear that one of my teammates was actively sabotaging.
Yeah, sure.
Like this Jonte Porter.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
Yeah.
Where it's being reported, alleged. This is not, none of this is, it's being alleged he was like, I'm sick, and gets out before hitting his over on any of his points or rebounds or anything like that. It's like, what if his teammates were like, well, I was feeling like shit too that night. You're like, we gotta, it's not good for anybody. So we hope that all the players do the right, you guys will do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
You all will do the right thing.